Alaska, the vast and enigmatic frontier of the United States, is a land shrouded in mystery, intrigue, and untamed wilderness. From its rugged mountains to its icy glaciers, Alaska holds secrets that have captivated explorers, scientists, and adventurers for centuries. The state's vast expanses of uninhabited wilderness and dark, star-filled skies provide the perfect backdrop for sightings of strange lights and unidentified flying objects. While many of these sightings can be attributed to natural phenomena or human activity, others defy explanation, leading some to believe that Alaska may be a hot spot for extraterrestrial visitation. In a shocking revelation, a former U.S. official claimed deep underground the Alaskan wilderness may lie a ginormous black pyramid, which is concealed by a top-secret government facility.
United States Army military specialist. After I got out of the military, moved up here. I've lived here since that time, over 35 years. Alaskan Black Pyramid.
But does it hold true? Why is the government trying to keep it wraps? Join us as we delve into the anomalous structure in Alaska and the secrets it hides. Covered in impenetrable forests and lined with craggy coastlines, Alaska has achieved almost a mythic status as the last frontier, a land of hardy explorers and off-the-grid adventurers, raw wilderness and crevasse-cut glaciers. From its rugged mountains to its icy glaciers, Alaska holds secrets that have captivated explorers, scientists, and adventurers for centuries. One of the enduring mysteries of Alaska lies in its remote and inaccessible regions, where ancient cultures once thrived and disappeared without a trace. Archaeological sites such as the 6,000-year-old Walrus Island petroglyphs and the enigmatic stone formations of the Serpent Mound continue to baffle researchers, offering tantalizing glimpses into the lives of Alaska's earliest inhabitants. The wilderness of Alaska also harbors tales of strange creatures and unexplained phenomena. The legend of the Alaska Triangle, a region roughly bounded by the cities of Anchorage, Juneau, and Barrow, parallels the Bermuda Triangle with its tales of vanished ships, aircraft, and people. Some attribute these disappearances to natural causes such as harsh weather and treacherous terrain, while others speculate about more otherworldly explanations. Alaska's vast landscapes are also home to countless unsolved mysteries. The disappearance of aviator Amelia Earhart during her ill-fated attempt to circumnavigate the globe in 1937 has fueled speculation that she may have crashed somewhere in Alaska's remote wilderness. Despite extensive search efforts, her fate remains unknown, leaving behind a haunting mystery that continues to capture the public's imagination. The Klondike Gold Rush of the late 19th century brought thousands of prospectors to Alaska's rugged interior in search of fortune, but many never returned. Tales of lost mines, buried treasure, and ghost towns abound in the region, inspiring treasure hunters and adventurers to this day. In addition to its terrestrial mysteries, Alaska's waters hold their own secrets. The waters off the coast are home to numerous shipwrecks, some of which remain undiscovered to this day. These wrecks serve as time capsules, preserving the stories of their crews and passengers for future generations to uncover. But perhaps the greatest mystery of Alaska lies in its wilderness itself, where towering mountains, vast forests, and icy glaciers conceal secrets known only to nature. From the eerie glow of the northern lights to the haunting calls of wild wolves echoing through the night, Alaska's untamed beauty continues to inspire wonder and curiosity, reminding us that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Among the myriad tales of strange happenings in the last frontier, one story stands out as particularly intriguing: the mysterious Dark Pyramid. Nestled amidst the rugged and icy wilderness of Alaska, the pyramid has made it a mysterious marvel that many people believe is linked to extraterrestrial beings. The first to speak about the possibility of a pyramid in the last frontier was researcher Linda Moulton Howe, an esteemed award-winning reporter who has dedicated her career to alternative news information and uncovering suppressed knowledge for the public. Her brainchild, earthfiles.com, is a global scientific report database. Alaska is roughly 2.5 times the size of Texas. This massive state has, in some variation, every type of climate on the planet, from beaches to deserts to the Arctic, rainforest jungles, concrete jungles, and so forth. While all the surveying of this state had been finished after World War II, the vast majority of this land is federal or just totally uninhabitable under their current climate conditions. The government presence overall in the state is pretty overwhelming, with an Air Force joint base nearly the size of Anchorage right outside of the city itself, the FEMA camp up near Fairbanks, the history of the HARP and HIPPOS facilities, and the lore of what these facilities' experiments could have done to the radically changing climate or even augmenting or altering the aurora borealis itself. So, not only could Alaska easily house secret facilities in otherwise uninhabitable government federal land, but in terms of theory, it would almost seem silly for the government to not utilize these tactical advantages. The first clear question is surely, why can't people see this from the sky? This is where things start to get even more outlandish because the pyramid is supposedly located underground. Furthermore, it's supposed to be 4 times the size of Giza. Although a radical theory to some scientists, the ability for an earthquake to subsequently collapse the pyramid in a sort of catacomb underneath the Earth's surface would be theoretically possibility if one took into account Charles Hapgood's Earth crust displacement theory. Yet even this is a wild and unlikely truth. Rather, what the lore seems to behold, quite literally, is that this pyramid is thousands of years old and simply was not built by humans. Some reports even say that there are 2 smaller pyramids behind the Dark Pyramid, similarly to Egypt, but this does not appear to be a recurring theme in the reporting. Some theories about how the pyramid was discovered claim that its acknowledgement had to do with the initial sale of the state from Russia to America. However, as reported by Linda Howe from an anonymous retired Navy captain, it was found through its massive electromagnetic signal output, which coincides with all the other Dark Pyramid claims, and the long-time claims from alternative researchers about what most call pyramid power. Quoting Howe's source, the retired Navy captain, the distant early warning line or DEW line system that we built in the early 1950s took some 8,000 to 10,000 scientists, engineers, and construction workers into the wilderness that had once seen only the occasional hunter, trapper, gold miner, or native Alaskan village. But in the planning of the White Alice and Dew line systems, there was one additional interest in the location and construction of the sites picked for a wax facility or DW line antenna, and that interest was electromagnetic interference, or EMI for short. Anyone who has tried to listen to his or her AM car radio when you drive by a high-voltage power line knows what electromagnetic interference is, although maybe by a different name we call radio static. EMI from the high-voltage power lines interferes with radio reception and makes it almost impossible to hear or understand what is being received. This is no different with a complex, long-ranged, and at the time sophisticated, over-the-horizon communication system, like White Alice that we were putting together up in the Alaska area. In fact, due to the nature of how the White Alice system operates, using backscattered signals caused by atmospheric turbulence, it is even more sensitive to EMI because the atmosphere has propagation issues. There are sunspot effects from the sun, there are solar flares that produce the northern lights, that selecting the proper location for the antennas would be critical. Is it so surprising to think that in planning for the installation of the White Alice system in the mid to late 1950s, and taking and recording EMI levels at proposed White Alice sites, that someone might have detected an unknown source of extremely high EMI activity, and yet there would be nothing seen that is causing the problem. Assume that you are part of a scientific team tasked with finding the unknown source of the extremely large EMI signature using a variety of highly technical measurement surveys to try to locate that signal and finally determine that nothing was there. It is easy, therefore, to think that once the location of the EMI's source was located, and with the Cold War tension that existed between the US and the Soviet Union, and that a remote location, the Alaskan wilderness, was identified as the location of a large unknown source of EMI, that due to its remote nature in Alaska, it would have seemed possible for a team of maybe Soviet military engineers to be in that country undetected and maybe buried underground with some type of EMI generator that could disrupt the White Alice and radar DEW line communications. Instead, when they went there and they started going underground, they discovered a large stone pyramid, perhaps 4 times the cubic volume of Cheops in Egypt. However accurate, this seems to be the tallest standing theory. The DEW line was a system of radar stations in the Aleutian Islands of Alaska, the Arctic of Canada, Greenland, etc., and was set up in order to detect Cold War bombing. The White Alice communication systems were constructed exclusively in Alaska during the same period, featuring tropospheric scatter links and line-of-sight microwave radio links, with nearly 40 WACS sites in the 49th state over the years. However, both of these programs have since been discontinued. In terms of the geological study involving the Alaskan pyramid, it was by no means linear. In 1992, the Chinese government was sanctioned by the United Nations to perform underground nuclear testing. Their global neighbors, including the US, were not very keen on the idea, but a team of geologists proposed a possible benefit by using the vibrations of the blasting to get an official and detailed map of the Earth's crust. In the official report, it is documented that located within the coordinates that Howe has released, which supposedly are the coordinates of where the pyramid is located, between Denali and Nome, there is a very clearly defined pyramid-shaped structure that matches the size of the Dark Pyramid lore, and that it was located underground. Meanwhile, in 1989, counterintelligence warrant officer Douglas Mutchler was stationed per request in Fort Richardson, Alaska. Interested in some prospecting, Mutchler acquired a detailed mapping of the state that covered an entire bedroom wall. On this map, he said that there was a white rectangle about the size of a postcard with text that read something along the lines of "land not surveyed as of whenever date it was." Mutchler knew this was fishy, and he did not forget it, but his curiosity dropped until 1992, when new light was shed on subject. One night in Fort Richardson military base, while watching the Channel 13 Evening News, outside of Anchorage, with 40 or so other standard military personnel, Doug Mutchler watched a breaking news story about the discovery of an underground pyramid in Alaska. The repost was accompanied by simplistic computer-generated animation, all due to the geological findings done into the Earth's crust previously mentioned. The next day, he called his father, who Mutchler said was an avid news watcher, only to find that his father had heard nothing of the sort. Upon looking into it further, even going to the Channel 13 news station, and asking for a copy, or at least some information on the story, no one had any idea what he was talking about. Mutchler was even told by the general manager of the station that no such story was ever run or had ever existed. When leaving the station, he was approached by one of the employed film editors who claimed that he could not help Mutchler in his pursuit, but he could verify that the story absolutely did air on the station the previous night. Mutchler didn't forget this, and years later, even had the gall to dig through government files in hopes to shed light on the situation, only to be confronted by 2 unidentified officials who took the files and reminded him that he did not have the clearance. 20 years later, Doug Mutchler went to Linda Moulton Howe and EarthFiles.com with his claim. Another brief anonymous source of Howe's has since come out on record as well, claiming that their father was an electrical engineer, part of the Cold War comm systems that were set up in Alaska in the 50s. Another second-hand eyewitness account was also passed down from father to son, this son's name being Bruce L. Pearson. Speaking on the matter, Pearson said that his father was told that the Alaska site was every bit as hush-hush as the Manhattan Project. The pilot also told him that it was not a nuclear device. It was not made by man. Nobody is supposed to know this place even exists. Pearson's father moved to a village in Alaska to teach upon retiring as a decorated member of the U.S. military in the mid-1970s. One day in the village, Pearson's father ran into two men around his age who were also military. The three men hit it off quite well, and by the time the other two had to depart, it seems that they weren't quite ready to say goodbye. In a gesture of classic Alaskan friendliness, the two pilots offered to bring Pearson's father along with them on their chopper flight a few hours away. They suggested that the time would pass quicker if Pearson's father was there with them to keep the great and reminiscent military conversation going. Pearson's father accepted and departed with them on the helicopter, and it was only until after the departure that he was made more aware of what exactly he was embarking on. Not long after being warned of the possibility of all of the electronic systems in the helicopter suddenly going haywire, they did indeed do so, including radars blinking and alarms sounding, and this was supposedly due to the electromagnetic properties of the pyramid. However, thankfully, this did not interfere with their flight capabilities of the vehicle. Eventually, the men made it to a very peculiarly placed landing pad in the middle of the wilderness, where Pearson's father noted multiple mining shafts that he says he could easily identify because of their presence throughout his childhood community. Upon landing, men in suits with no advertised affiliation came, grabbed the unidentifiable cargo without word, and a jeep came up behind them and filled them up, all without even turning off the chopper itself. Adding to the mystique of the Alaska Black Pyramid are the various legends and myths that surround it. Local indigenous tribes have passed down tales of the pyramid for generations, often imbuing it with supernatural significance. Some believe that the structure holds mystical powers or serves as a portal to other dimensions. Others warn of ancient curses that befall those who dare to disturb its slumber. Despite numerous expeditions and investigations, the secrets of the Alaska Black Pyramid remain elusive. Archaeologists have attempted to study the site, but harsh weather conditions and logistical challenges have hampered their efforts. Conspiracy theorists and amateur sleuths scour satellite imagery and analyze obscure texts in search of clues that might unlock the pyramid's mysteries. The allure of the Alaska Black Pyramid extends beyond its enigmatic origins. As the Alaska Black Pyramid continues to defy explanation, it serves as a poignant reminder of the vastness of our planet and the enduring mysteries that lie within its depths. Whether the product of ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial intervention, or natural forces beyond our comprehension, the enigma of the Alaska Black Pyramid continues to captivate the imagination and inspire wonder in all who behold it. Beside the mysterious regarding the Dark Pyramid, Alaska, known for its rugged terrain, vast wilderness, and harsh climate, has long been a hotbed of mysterious phenomena and unexplained encounters, what many believe to be extraterrestrial beings. In the frigid winter of 2002, a group of hunters set out into the remote wilderness of Alaska's interior, seeking game in the pristine, snow-covered landscape. As night descended and temperatures plummeted, the group made camp in a secluded clearing surrounded by towering evergreen trees. It was during the darkest hours of the night that the hunters' peaceful solitude was shattered by a sudden blinding light that illuminated the entire forest with an otherworldly brilliance. Startled and disoriented, the hunters emerged from their tents to investigate the source of the inexplicable phenomenon. What they encountered defied all rational explanation. Hovering above the tree line was a massive metallic craft unlike anything they had ever seen. Its sleek, silver exterior seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, and the strange symbols adorned its surface. The craft emitted a low, humming sound that reverberated through the forest, sending chills down the spines of the onlookers. As the hunters watched in awe and disbelief, A hatch on the underside of the craft opened, revealing a blinding portal of light. Out from the depths of the mysterious vessel emerged figures unlike any terrestrial beings, lithe and humanoid in form, with elongated limbs and large almond-shaped eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. Frozen in fear and wonder, the hunters could only watch as the otherworldly visitors approached with an air of serene curiosity. There was no communication in the traditional sense, but the hunters sensed a profound connection with these enigmatic beings, a silent exchange of thoughts and emotions that transcended language barriers. For what felt like an eternity, the hunters and the extraterrestrial visitors stood in silent communion, each party attempting to comprehend the incomprehensible nature of their encounter. And then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the beings retreated back into their craft, which ascended into the night sky with a deafening roar, leaving the hunters alone in the darkness once more. In the days and weeks that followed, the hunters grappled with the profound implications of their experience. Some dismissed it as a trick of the mind, a hallucination brought on by the harsh conditions of the Alaskan wilderness. Others believed it to be a divine revelation, a glimpse into the mysteries of the cosmos. But for those who witnessed the event firsthand, there was no denying the reality of what they had encountered, the inexplicable presence of beings from beyond the stars, visiting Earth in a display of unfathomable wonder. To this day, the story of Alaska's mysterious encounter with extraterrestrial beings remains shrouded in mystery and speculation. Skeptics may scoff at the notion of alien visitation, but for those who were there that fateful night, the truth is as clear as the stars that shine above the vast, untamed wilderness of the last frontier. Beyond Alaska, the skies above Canada were fertile ground for what could be UFOs, with at least 17 reports filed in 2023, according to media reports. Friday. The sightings came from all over Canada, from credible sources such as pilots and crews from various airline companies including WestJet, Air France, and British Airways. At least 17 reports of unexplained sightings were confirmed in 2023 by CTV News and are contained in an online aviation incident database maintained by the federal government's Transport Canada. Last February, 2 airlines reported strange sightings of lights in the sky, much higher than usual flight paths on the same night over the province of Quebec. As a crew member aboard a cargo flight from Chicago to Luxembourg told air traffic controllers in Canada, according to audio obtained by CTV, "It looks like it's more than one and sort of circling. It's a bit weird." But a second source reported the sighting too. Like an air traffic controller told the Luxembourg-bound cargo flight on February 12th, "Just to let you know there was a flight from the south. They saw the same thing roughly a half an hour ago. So, I guess we're not just dreaming then, huh?" the aviator responded. "No, you're not the first on tonight," the air traffic controller said. Canadian skies seem to be a favorite haunt of unexplained objects that could be UFOs. Since the year 2000, Transport Canada has received more than 315,000 reports of civil aviation incidents. In the United States, UFOs, now often referred to as unidentified anomalous phenomena or UAP, have been looked into during congressional hearings. But don't you know that in fact, the reports regarding UFO have been surfacing for decades? The modern era of UFO sightings and investigations started after World War II with a sudden surge of unexplained reports. According to the latest update, the U.S. government now is receiving dozens of reports of unidentified anomalous phenomena each month, with the potential for hundreds, if not thousands, more reports expected in the near future. Most explosively, a former intelligence official named David Grush came forward in June with a whistleblower report alleging the U.S. government was in possession of intact and partially intact vehicles from UFO crash sites. The craft, he said, were of non-human origin, but he also said he had never personally seen the objects. inviting skepticism from outside experts. Regardless, what's interesting, it seems aliens like to party in Las Vegas too. Data shared by the National UFO Reporting Center shows the U.S. hotspot for UFOs is Lincoln County, Nevada. Lincoln County saw the most UFO sightings across all U.S. counties between 2000 and 2023 at 820.9 per 100,000 residents, the nonprofit reported. The county is notably home to the top-secret military base known as Area 51, which has long been associated with unknown phenomena. East Coast hotspots included upstate New York's Hamilton County and Dare County, North Carolina. The center, which operates off user-submitted reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, says nearly 113,000 alien sightings have been submitted between 2000 and 2023. The states with the most sightings in 2023 were California, Florida, Texas, Washington, and New York. Overall, the sightings reported in 2023 were down 19% from 2022. And according to the center's webmaster Christian Stepien, the two most intriguing videos it received in 2023, a spooky sighting in Texas and a daring duel in Utah. The Texas incident occurred on January 4th over the small town of Forney at about 9:20 p.m. and featured a glowing object resembling a computer cursor in the sky. "That is not an airplane!" The witness, an unnamed Texan, is heard exclaiming on the 13-second video. The center purposefully withholds names of witnesses to protect their identities. Meanwhile, the Utah sighting took place in May 2021 near Arches National Park and resembled a scene out of Top Gun with two spherical metal objects soaring by on the same flight path. There's certainly a sign that there's something anomalous going on, and it would be nice if the government paid more attention and did some serious research, Stepien said of the two peculiar clips, adding, "You can tell by the way that one guy, the Texan, is talking that he's pretty blown away by what he's looking at. A V-shaped craft." Last fall, the Pentagon launched a new portal where current and former service members, government employees, and contractors can report UFO sightings. The county is notably home to the top-secret military base known as Area 51, which has long been associated with unknown phenomena. The online form will help the Department of Defense's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office compile accounts of unidentified aerial phenomena sightings to include in its congressionally mandated historical record report, which is due to Congress by June 2024. The Pentagon office in charge of investigating UFO reports most recently provided its most detailed explanation for what it said were false or misconstrued claims of alien visitations over the decades. The first volume of a historical record report released by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARO, in response to a congressional mandate, did include a fresh disclosure. During the 2010s, U.S. government officials considered a proposed program code-named Kona Blue that would have looked into the possibility that extraterrestrial technology could be reverse-engineered. But the Department of Homeland Security rejected the idea because it lacked merit, the report said. According to the report, it is critical to note that no extraterrestrial craft or bodies were ever collected. This material was only assumed to exist by Kona Blue advocates and its anticipated contract performers. The same assumptions were made by outside investigators who delved into UAP reports as part of an earlier Pentagon-funded program. One of the investigators involved in that program, which was known as the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program, or the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, made clear that he'd continue trying to keep the alien angle in the public eye. Luis Elizondo, who helped spark renewed interest in UFO reports in 2017, said in a posting to X, "Today the Pentagon and its current UAP investigative program, ARO, issued a public report that is intentionally dishonest, inaccurate, and dangerously misleading. Myself and others who are aware of the truth are going to keep working to help Congress in their efforts to achieve disclosure." But Mick West, a retired software engineer who specializes in analyzing UAP reports, said the newly released report shows how a belief in alien phenomena can be self-reinforcing. West wrote on X that a belief in the supernatural is what led to the current UFO flap that AARO is trying to pour cold water on. After all, no matter the results of the latest UFO investigations, the debate is sure to rage for years to come. After all, a lot of people feel strongly that the truth is out there. If you too just want to believe, you can see for yourself where extraterrestrials may have touched down on Earth at these destinations around the world. That's all the information that we have for you today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss out on future episodes. And be sure to also tell us what you think about today's content. Everyone's support motivates us to continue delivering quality content and to always improve. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.